And happy, well, not first of the year, but happy first movie of the year, folks. And to start things off, we have M3GAN. So it seems like every year now we are getting at least one or two different ideas, new concepts, or new trying to be attempting to be new concepts, new takes on the whole AI in our world idea. And they seem to generally lean towards one way or the other. Sometimes you get the new like Chucky, or that one with Adam Levine, or Adam Devine, Adam Devine, sorry, where like his AI has gone haywire, controlling his life, and it's a comedy. You get movies like those, which aren't very good. But then other times you get an Ex Machina, or you get a Her, or you get like the original Terminator. I mean, that's all the way back then, but you get my point. It also seems like we always seem to get some new idea or spin on the Killer Doll movie. Again, we had Chucky. We had Anna. Well, first we had Chucky first off. Mommy Dearest, I think, was another one, if I'm not mistaken. You had Annabelle. You have, I guess Jigsaw is technically a spin on it, kind of. Hell, that demonic Pinocchio one. So the Killer Doll idea is nothing new. So you get the movies on the great side of the spectrum, and then you get the movies on the weak side of the spectrum. And then, to be very much the dark horse here, you get M3GAN, which somehow falls right in the middle there. And I'm gonna go through this later and use that as my thumbnail. I like this. No, so I want to be very clear. I saw this with my girlfriend, and my friend. My friend's a big horror nut, and my girlfriend was at least being supportive, had interest, at least somewhat interest in the movie. And we all actually fell on different sides of the fence. Now, as it stands right now, M3GAN holds a 94% with Rotten Tomatoes from the critics and a 78% with the audience. So actually, a significant amount of the audience likes it. The positive amount likes it, but actually a significant amount less of people. No joke. 17% is not a small number when you're talking about, out of 100. So a lot less people like it than the critics do. And my girlfriend actually really liked it. My friend thought it was crap, but it was fun crap. I fell in the middle, and this is actually a very rare thing for me to actually be very much against the grain when it comes to both the critic and the audience score when it comes to Rotten Tomatoes. Now, Rotten Tomatoes is not the end-all, be-all, but it's generally the most accurate to gauge everyone's general reaction to a movie. And usually I fall on one side or the other. I'm either with the audience, or I'm with the critics, or I'm agreeing with both. Here, I'm actually not really agreeing with either of them. So it's I fell into a very unique place here. So before I go really into you got the idea of what what the movie's about from the trailer. This girl has lost her parents in an accident, which you saw that coming a mile away. They were literally telegraphing into the scene. They died in a snowplow accident, and how it happens is so. Oh God. And I don't mean like oh God. I mean like oh God. I was laughing my ass off. And so she goes to live with her aunt, who I'm guessing is estranged. Her aunt and her mother, which was sister, were like not the closest. And she works as like this programmer and inventor for a toy company, and she's trying to make the perfect toy. In this case, M3GAN here, and to basically help. Katie is the girl's name. Comfort her, get over her grief, all that. She introduces M3GAN into her life, and they bond, and it seems to help her until M3GAN starts to get overprotective. She goes a little iRobot, as we were kind of comparing over last night, and evolves and oversteps her bounds and starts axing people off to protect this girl. And it's whether or not they're going to be able to put the genie back in the bottle, or oh God, Skynet's here kind of scenario. And I'll tell you immediately what my problem with the movie is. And it's a problem I had with a movie a few years back Good Boys, where I like the trailer. I like the trailer for M3GAN, by the way. I like the trailer for Good Boys. I thought this movie was going to look really good, and it ranked either as my second or first worst movie of the year that year. It was so uncomfortably painful and unfunny throughout 90% of it. But every once in a while, a part of that 10% would show up in the film that got me and Mark getting a good laugh. And that's the problem here. There is a very good movie, I think, in this movie. There are elements here that are working. There are some legitimately creepy things in this movie. There is good commentary. There are some emotional moments. But every time they're trying to do something to further this type of narrative, it is just sidelined by some bad choice a character is making that is so visibly bad that we as the audience groan. A choice that the director made where the audience went, "Oh my god," or something so unrealistic or so stereotype, like bad for like in the generic for this type of movie that I go, "Oh god." And it really sucks because I can see the good in here. So I mean, what is the good in here? Before I like kind of bitch and moan about some other stuff here, what is the good in here? All the acting is good. All the acting is solid. Allison Williams, who plays Gemma, who is like the aunt who takes her in. As much as I don't like the character most of the time, the actress is doing good. She's the same actress who played the girlfriend in Get Out. And she's a good actress. Like she's doing her good job. But the girl, Violet McGraw, who plays Katie, the girl who lost her parents. First off, I leaned over to my friend and she's like, "I thought, yeah." I'm like, she looks like a young Samara from The Ring, especially in some scenes where she's making these very upset faces. But they really got across a girl who has lost the two most important people in her life, who is, psychologically she's not doing well right now. And then you give her this surrogate human to bond with, and in one sense she's improving, but in the other sense, she's now bonding with her machine, and therefore she's not learning to basically be human. She's actually learning not to be human. And it's her, and you see how it hurts her and hurts the relationship she's trying to, or hurts her life overall. And the girl, man, when this girl goes all out, when this girl goes into full-on grief mode, full-on tantrum mode, full-on hurting, just psychologically unstable mode. Man, she is killer in this film. All the other actors are good too. Most of the other actors are minor. You get like the person who's the boss, Ronnie Chang, whose name is David. You get her assistants, Jess and Cole, if I'm not mistaken, or Tess and Cole, played by Jen Van Epps and Brian Jordan Alvarez. Other than that, though, everyone else is pretty minor. Oh, and then you get I'm just going to call it was a Karen. They literally had a Karen, and her name was Cecilia, but a Karen, this terrible woman who keeps, chemical washing her fence, getting on her lawn, and her dog, there's a dog in the movie. Guess what happens to the dog? But even I, who's an animal lover and don't like seeing animals get hurt on screen, I'm like, at least they don't show what happens. All I can say is I wish I felt more sorry for the dog and the woman who lost the dog. But both were kind of terrible. And they kind of got what was coming to them. Maybe you don't kill them, but still. So that's all good. The voice of M3GAN, this very upbeat, the voice apparently is Jenna Davis, who I feel like I know that actress. I've got IMDb up here. I know this actress. Hold on. What else has she been in? Let's see here. Maggie, no, that's a TV series. She's done a lot of TV work. Has she done any other movies? No, but she's done a lot of TV work. I'm sure I've seen her in something. Nothing that I'm seeing here, but anyway. Like the voice of, it's a standard like modularized girl voice, but it works. But the physicality from the girl physically playing her, Amy Donald, damn, do they make, even when she's wacky, she's a little creepy. Like when she's doing the dance, like she learns it from Katie. She's doing dance, and then she takes off the paper cutter machete. Which, by the way, I don't know how many of us actually still use those things anymore. A lot of the paper cutters I see now are a lot duller, but still like they have just enough of an edge to cut paper. So I don't know how. And for a high tech company to have something that low tech, I find it a little suspect. But whatever. Yeah, when Megan is legitimately creepy. It's when she's becoming more human that definitely that unsettling kind of nature comes into effect. And furthermore, it's when you see her actually kind of when you see her interact with people with that unsettling nature and understanding what physically she's capable of doing. I'll also say this: there is definitely some surprises when it comes to the kills. Not a lot of people are killed in this movie, but when they are killed, one or two of them come off as okay. There's the should I spoil what actually happens in that scene? I mean, I guess you can assume it happened. No, I'll say this: the scene in the forest with the kid, with the bully. That one wasn't as good because what actually happens at the end of the scene, we didn't see that coming. But the scene where and it's the clips of it where you see her tear off his ear, like, look, this is me trying to tear my ear. It does not look see-through if you do that. Whereas this, it was just like looked like someone was like pulling on rubber. And I get it, they were on a $12 million budget. You probably couldn't get the best prosthetic, but still. I'll also say this. When the movie's trying to actually have some emotion, it legitimately works. Granted, her singing is a little distracting, but yeah, she sings like 3 times in this movie. And once really, I get why it was there, but really didn't work. It ruined the scene because there's this really great emotional scene between Megan and Katie. And it's really good. I even hear my friend go, "Aw." And then she starts to sing to her to make her feel better. But everyone in the audience was just like, oh, God. Like, But then she does it again later on when Katie's in her bed. And she's doing it to basically soothe her and, like, make her feel better. And, yeah, that one worked a bit more. Like, that, I understood that. And then the final one is when she's trying to convince Katie not to, like, kill her. Because, obviously, she has been going crazy and they need to stop her. But the problem I have overall, though, is there's no consistency in this film. You want to know how this film opens up? It opens up with an ad for freaking demonic Furby bunghole offspring. Oh my God, were those toys nightmare-inducing looking. Oh my God, even Furbies, which are ugly little devils of Hasbro hell, are still cuter than these things are. It opens up with that, which already, and I explained it to my girlfriend last night after when we got back, and she was like, "I get it. You don't like this. No, you have to understand. I'm saying this to set up the point I'm trying to make." And the point is, you opened up with that, which clearly would set the tone for the film, and that's the problem where you're trying to be creepy. You already set up a weird comedic tone. I get there's a lot of commentary in this film, but it does not work for me to set. You should have maybe started with more of like a manufacturing of her, and then maybe showing that ad on a screen in the lab or something like that, and that could have worked more effectively and made it less goofy for me. Because at that, right from the get, I'm like, okay, this isn't going to be taking itself that seriously, or it's going to be taking itself seriously, but not be serious, but be goofy at the same time while being serious. And it's hard to balance being silly and goofy while taking yourself seriously. There are films that can do it. I think Deadpool, weirdly enough, is a perfect example of a film that is silly and goofy and fun and loving, but it's taking itself seriously while still having a lot of fun. Like Wade, while Wisecracker, is still devoted to the task at hand. The problem is this film has a weird identity crisis. It's Blumhouse, so you'd think it's trying to be horror, but it feels like it's more like a comedy. Or sorry, you'd feel like it's a horror movie that's maybe trying to be a comedy, but it's actually the other way around. It's more of a comedy that's trying to be a horror film. And at some points it does get creepy, but it's not consistent in that creep. There's only one moment it caused me to jump in my seat, and it wasn't even it had nothing to do with Megan. It was a damn dog, and it was just because I'm focusing on something, and the dog shows up. I'm like, oh, okay, we're dog. So that happened, or that happens. Gemma, the character of Gemma, which is again the aunt, Allison Williams, is not. I get what they're getting. Once again, I go back to my show. I see the good film coming out. I get what they're trying to go for with this character. A person who is not equipped to be taking care of a child, but is forced into this anyway. And someone even brings up, after seeing kind of how she's not really good with her at all. There's no connection at all. Like, she's just a person in the house. That's like, why did you want custody? Like, seriously, if you're not going to even make the attempt. So it's one of those. Sorry, I heard something. I thought, just wanted to make sure everything was okay. So it's one of those things where it's like by the time they try to put some emotional investment between her and her niece, it's just not. It's too little, too late. I didn't care about their relationship at that point. And I should also say, Chekhov's gun much. Maybe it's, and I think one of the reasons I felt weirdly in the middle is because, I brought this up last night when we were talking about it after the film. I think I've just seen too many films at this point to be able to identify Chekhov gun moment things. There's something that gets introduced pretty early on into the film, like, well, that's going to come to play in the finale, and sure enough, it does. Admittedly, in a fun way. But I'm like, okay, predictable. And I mean, this is going to happen. And then there's a little, I don't know if it's a stinger, but I guess it's kind of a stinger where there might be like an implied, like, oh, did they get rid of her or not? Kind of thing. Like, okay. I will say, for all the problems, the jumbledness I have with the movie, the final act, like the final 20 minutes is actually pretty solid. Actually, once Megan breaks out of the lab and goes on a rampage, that's where the movie kind of picks up for me, and I think it becomes legitimately fun. Otherwise, it's just so hit and miss all over the place that I don't give rankings anymore, but this would probably fall right in the middle. Maybe even a little below like a 5, but it's got nowhere near the worst. I can understand why people would like it. I do. And if you do like it, I applaud you. Absolutely. I wish I could have liked it more. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either. But look, this is all just my opinion. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Have you seen it yet? What did you think overall? Until then, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And as always, if you want us to review something, put it down in the comments below. Let me know. I'll get to it at some point. Until then, see you later. And I just got to pre-record my what if for tomorrow. So later.